Yeah, huh?
You see that story on parasites?
Where? Where?
If you'll take number 9 out, I planted that in there for Adam and Aaron, but I don't want it in there for Lexi. And then you'll want to change the numbers to 8 instead of 9.
What numbers?
Just take number 9 out. I'll tell you what it is.
Out of what? The script?
Yeah, out of the script.
We're about to go live. It's 8:59.
I don't matter if you do it now or whatever, but if you can get it out, that'd be good. If not, Lexi, just don't do it.
What?
Alright, got 1 minute.
Where? Where is it at?
Are we doing it right now, not the audience?
Did you take out number 9?
Yeah, if you'll take out number 9.
So this one that I'm about to highlight?
I mean, it's in green and it just says number 9. After the color.
Yeah, but then there's a statement at the end that doesn't have it. It's just number 9.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I did want to do that for Lori.
Okay.
We'll probably smile. But laugh. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Hello, Northwest Georgia. Welcome to Your Weather on North Georgia Television. Today will be partly cloudy in the morning with sunny skies in the afternoon with a high of 78 and an overnight low of 50. And now for a look around the region. Calhoun at 63 this morning. Expect a midday temp of 74. Will be sunny and a high of 77. Chatsworth starting at 62 and sunny. 72 at midday and a high of 76. Chickamauga has 64 this morning and mostly sunny skies. Expect a midday temp of 72, 75 in the evening and mostly sunny. Kahara, 62, sunshine and some clouds, 71 at noon, then 74 for the high and cloudy in the evening. Dalton starting at 63 and sunny, 73 at noon and a high of 76. Fairmount, 63 this morning with cloudy skies, 73 at midday and sunny skies, and 77 in the afternoon. Fort Oglethorpe at 63 this morning and sunshine, partly cloudy at noon and up to 71, 75 in the evening and mostly sunny. Lafayette at 61 for the morning, partly cloudy skies during the morning hours, becoming sunny, up to 71 at midday and 75 is the expected afternoon high. Ringgold, 64 this morning, 72 around noon, high of 75 this afternoon and sunny. And now for your 7-day forecast. Friday, mostly sunny skies with a high near 80 and some overnight clouds. Saturday, partly cloudy skies, a high around 86. Sunday, partly cloudy skies with stray showers and thunderstorms in the evening. Monday, scattered thunderstorms with cloudy skies and a high of 86. Tuesday, mixed clouds and sunshine with scattered thunderstorms, a high of 83, and chance of rain is at 50%. Wednesday, scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day with a high of 85. And next Thursday, scattered thunderstorms with a high of 84. And that is your weather forecast. Whatever the weather, North Georgia Television hopes you have a blessed and beautiful day. And now for the local obituaries. Joseph Anthony Martinenza, age 79. Joseph Martinenza of Calhoun passed away on Tuesday, June 4th at Hamilton Medical Center in Dalton. A Mass will be held on Thursday, June 13th at 10 a.m. from the St. Clement's Catholic Church with Father Fraser Munoz officiating. Family will receive friends on Thursday prior to the Mass from 8 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. at Thomas Funeral Home. Jerry Neil Oliver, age 83. Jerry Oliver of Fort Oglethorpe went home to be with the Lord Monday, June 10th at his residence. Funeral service will be held 11 a.m. Thursday in the funeral home with Chapel with Reverend Todd Flanagan officiating. Interment will be at Lakewood Memory Garden South. Arrangements by Heritage Funeral Home, Battlefield Parkway. Herbert Ernst Kerr Sr. Herbert Kerr Sr. of Rossville passed away on Monday, June 10th. The family will receive friends Thursday from 2 p.m. until the time of service. A funeral service will be held at 6 p.m. on Thursday, June 13th in the Funeral Home Chapel with Pastor Barry Williams officiating. Arrangements by Wilson and Sons Funeral Home, Fort Oglethorpe. Mr. Maurice DeMario Akoff, age 36. Maurice Akoff of Canton, Georgia, passed away Tuesday, June 4th. Funeral service will be on Saturday, June 15th at 2 p.m. from Mount Zion Baptist Church, Lafayette, Georgia, with Pastor Reuben M. Taylor and other ministers officiating. The family will receive friends at the church 1 hour before the service. Mr. Harlan Milton Craig. Harlan Craig of Marietta, formerly of Dalton, passed away Sunday, June 9th at Wellstar Hospital in Kenstone. Funeral service of Mr. Craig will be Thursday, June 13th at 1 p.m. in the chapel of Sean Chapman Funeral Home. Senor Alfredo Torres Zavala, age 53. Senor Alfredo Torres of Dalton, Georgia, passed away on Monday, June 10th. Funeral service will be on Thursday, June 13th at 12 p.m. noon at St. Joseph Catholic Church, with Father Duvan Gonzalez officiating. Visitation will be at the funeral home on Thursday and Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. Joe Todd, age 65. Joe Todd of Cahata, Georgia, passed away unexpectedly on Monday, June 10th. Funeral service to celebrate the life of Joe Todd will be held at 2 p.m. Monday, June 17th at the Chapel of Dalton Funeral Home. Interment will be at the Little Prospect Cemetery. Mr. Charles J.S. Holmes, age 86. Charles Holmes of Chatsworth passed away Monday, June 10th. The family will be receiving friends visitation on Thursday, June 13th, beginning at 12 o'clock until the service hour at 5 p.m. at Sean Chapman Funeral Home. Charles V. Oliver, age 88. Charles Oliver of Flintstone went home to be with the Lord Monday, June 10th. Funeral service will be held 8:45 a.m. Friday with Pastor Terry Burns officiating. Interment will follow at the Chattanooga National Cemetery. The family will receive friends from 4 to 8 p.m. Thursday at a Heritage Funeral Home, Battlefield Parkway. Kingsley Blackman, age 88. Kingsley Blackman of Calhoun passed away Monday, June 10th at his residence. Celebration of life will be held on Friday, June 14th at 1 p.m. at the Georgia Cumberland Academy Seventh-day Adventist Church with Pastor Greg Hudson officiating. Thomas Funeral Home oversees the arrangements. Mr. Charles Stewart, age 58. Charles Stewart of Chatsworth passed away at his residence Tuesday, June 11th. Arrangements are incomplete and will be announced later by Sean Chapman Funeral Home of Chatsworth. And those are the local obituaries. Stay tuned for your local news.
welcome to your local news, Northwest Georgia. We are your news covering Whitfield, Murray, Gordon, Walker, and Catoosa counties. Thanks for joining us. I am Connie Hall Scott.
And I'm Alexis Scott.
And coming up in the news today, a naked man is shot by officer. Georgia County dropped from suit. Charges dropped against Georgia senator and 14 other protesters. 9 signs you may have a parasite. And a man found living in a Tennessee family attic.
That's new.
That is crazy.
All right, well, a federal judge has dismissed...
That paused you for a moment, didn't it?
It did. I had to think on that. It made me think of a movie. Well, a federal judge has dismissed civil rights claims against a Georgia county after a police officer shot an unarmed naked man. Former DeKalb County officer Robert Olson, who's white, killed 27-year-old Anthony Hill, a black veteran with bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder, in 2015. Hill's family filed a civil rights lawsuit against Olson and the county, claiming officials failed to provide adequate training for interacting with mentally ill people. U.S. District Judge Timothy Batten ruled last week that DeKalb County's training on use of force and interactions with mentally ill people followed best law enforcement practices. The claims against Olson remain. Hill was wandering around his apartment complex without clothes when a manager called 911. Olson was dispatched to the scene and shot Hill shortly after arriving.
Wow. And that's kind of controversial in a way, but we won't get into that today, not here anyway. As of yesterday, charges have been dropped against a Georgia state senator and 14 others arrested while protesting at the state capitol. Senator Nikema Williams of Atlanta is also chairwoman of the state Democratic Party. She was arrested November 13th while calling for uncounted ballots from the November 6th election to be tallied. The election included the closely watched race for governor between Democratic Stacey Abrams and Republican Brian Kemp, who won. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports the cases were dismissed late last week. Cobb County Solicitor General Barry Morgan said he won't prosecute Williams because of First Amendment concerns. Williams said she is considering suing Capitol Police over her arrest. Authorities said then that the demonstration was cleared after multiple warnings because rules prohibit chanting or yelling, pardon me, while the legislature is in session.
Well, let's change topics for a minute and think about our bodies. Here's a look at a disturbing situation, what we might want to think about, might not want to think about, but maybe we should. Here are 9 silent signs you could have a parasite. You may think they're only a problem in poor or developing countries, but parasites affect millions of people in the United States, reported Juliana Livankia for Reader's Digest. Before you go self-diagnosing your parasite symptoms, it's important to understand what a parasite is. A parasite is an organism that lives on or in a host organism and gets its food from or at the expense of its host. It's a little science lesson for you. According to the CDC, there are 3 classes of parasites: protozoa, which are tiny one-celled organisms that typically live in the intestines, blood, or tissue; helminthines, which are parasitic worms such as tapeworms, roundworms, and thorny-headed worms; and ectoparasites, which are ticks, fleas, lice, and mites that attach to or burrow into your skin. Burrow. What is it with me and that word?
I'm not really sure.
It's like I just go crazy with that. Parasites can cause disease and even death, but fortunately, if caught early, the infections can usually be treated with medication. Here are some silent signs and parasite symptoms that can mean you are hosting one of these tiny invaders, including the parasite that millions of people in the United States have and don't know it. Number 1. You ingested or swam in some questionable water, whether you were traveling abroad and drank from the tap or went to the lake around the block and splashed around for a bit. Ingesting contaminated water is one of the most common causes of parasites, according to Delia Walks, MD, a board-certified family physician in Las Vegas.
Whoa. So, and I think this story is particularly important this time of year while people are swimming and going to different places and the ticks and fleas are crazy. So let's go to number 2. Whether you were traveling abroad and drank from the tap or went to the lake around the block and splashed around for a bit, ingesting contaminated water is one of the most common.
I believe I just said that.
You did?
Somebody's got it going.
You did. So, well, anyway, let's go on.
We'll go to number 3.
Let's go to number 3.
2 is not a good number anyway.
Yeah, I'm not good with numbers. You enjoy a rare steak.
Raw or uncooked?
Raw or uncooked. Yeah. You enjoy a rare steak. You tend to prefer your foods on the rare side? It might not be the best option if you're looking to avoid a parasite. Ingesting raw or undercooked beef or pork can lead to the Taenia type of intestinal tapeworms, says Dana Hawkinson of the University of Kansas Health System. Eating certain raw fish can lead to infection by a Diplothobothorium.
There's a long word.
Yeah, a type of intestinal tapeworm. Additionally, ingestion of contaminated food or water can lead to an Ascaris infection. Ascaris infection, intestinal roundworms can grow up to 35 centimeters in length and lead to intestinal blockage, so you definitely want to avoid them.
That doesn't sound like any fun.
No.
Well, number 4, you're losing weight, which most people wouldn't complain about, but in this case, there are many diseases that cause unexplained weight loss, but losing weight is also one of the primary parasite symptoms for certain types of these freeloaders. Tapeworms will cause you to lose weight because you have this huge worm in your intestines eating your food. Dr. Patricia Quinslis, the medical director of the Iowa Department of Public Health, told Today. The weight loss is often accompanied by loss of appetite and upset stomach. Number 5, you have a compromised immune system. A compromised immune system could inhibit your body's ability to fight off a parasite. Those with diabetes and HIV, as well as those undergoing transplants who are on immunosuppressants, are most at risk, Dr. Watts says.
And number 6, you're spending a lot of time in the bathroom. This is also one of the more common parasite symptoms noticed by hosts. According to the CDC, Giardia infection is the most common intestinal parasitic disease affecting humans in the United States. You might get it if you're drinking from infested water, eating raw food that contains the parasite, touching surfaces contaminated with Giardia, like bathroom handles or diaper pails, or swimming in infested lakes, rivers, or streams. If you've got it, you'll be quick to notice that something is amiss. The infection is known for causing watery diarrhea, gas, abdominal cramps, and dehydration within 1 to 3 weeks after exposure. And number 7, you've got other GI symptoms. Perhaps the most common parasite symptoms are ones that mimic irritable bowel syndrome. Gastrointestinal parasites can cause abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, itching, anemia, and intestinal obstructions, says Amish A. Adalji, MD, a senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security.
And number 8, you have trouble breathing. This is one of the lesser known parasite symptoms. Parasites can thrive in places other than the intestines. If a parasite resides in the lung, it can cause respiratory symptoms such as coughing or shortness of breath, says Dr. What's his name?
Adalji.
Adalji. Oh, that's interesting. And it's scary but true, but some parasite infections produce 0 parasite symptoms. If you have reason to suspect you may have one, see a doctor as soon as possible.
You know, it's kind of almost funny in a way if you think about all these things that happen in your body and all that, but it could be quite serious, so it's important to pay attention to these things, particularly in the summertime.
And a worm isn't something you want to play with.
No, it isn't. Definitely not. A Middle Tennessee 18-year-old landed in jail after police say he was caught hiding in a family's attic and sneaking out at night to be with a 14-year-old girl.
Now, how old was this guy?
18.
Shoo.
Totally inappropriate. According to the arrest affidavit for Matthew C. Castro, officers responded to the Mount Juliet home earlier this month after the girl's mother called police. The mother says she had returned home and found Castro, who had been involved with her daughter, standing at the top of the stairs. The mother says Castro ran into the girl's bedroom despite the mother's calls for him to leave. An investigation by the officers found Castro had been living in the attic space of the home and coming down at night through a door in the girl's bedroom closet. The affidavit states officers had to enter into the attic to remove Castro and place him under arrest. Mount Juliet police say the girl has been the subject of runaway and unruly child investigations. Castro was charged with aggravated criminal trespass and is due in court in August for his initial court appearance.
Tell you, if I saw that at the top of my stairs, it'd be Fight Club.
Yeah, it's not good, and you know, I guess we'll see what happens with that. That's almost like something from a scary movie. Actually, I think it is from a book that I've read at one point, one of those really super scary ones about a man living in a family's home. And
Oh,
then-
yeah. That's like someone's worst nightmare.
It is.
But in
It's
other
not
news,
good.
Georgia is terminating Medicaid assistance for about 17,000 poor elderly or disabled Georgians after state officials say they failed to respond to renewal notices. But some patients tell the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that they never receive renewal notices. Their lawyers point to computer accounts they say show that no such notices were ever sent. Lawyers with the nonprofit Georgia Legal Services are working for some of the affected patients. They've written to the State Department of Community Health in an effort to get the move reversed. As I hope they do.
Absolutely. In Whitfield County, Dr. Andrew C. Bland has been appointed Vice President and Chief Medical Officer of Hamilton Medical Care System, which is HHCS. Bland comes to Hamilton from the Joint Commission, TJC, where he was the Medical Director for the Division of Healthcare Quality Evaluation. TJC accredits and certifies healthcare organizations and is recognized nationwide as a symbol of quality that reflects an organization's commitment to meeting specified performance standards. Prior to his role with TJC, Bland was with Hospital Sisters Health System, which is HSHS, in Illinois, a 15-hospital system where he served as Chief Quality Officer and Chief Medical Officer, among other duties. Additionally, Bland was the Assistant Dean for Faculty Development and Associate Professor of Medicine at the University of Illinois College of Medicine at Peoria before joining HSHS. Bland completed his undergraduate studies in cell and structural biology at the University of Illinois College of Liberal Arts in Champaign, Illinois. He then graduated with honors with a James Scholar while obtaining his medical degree from the University of Illinois College of Medicine in Peoria, Illinois. Bland completed combined residencies in internal medicine and pediatrics at St. Francis Medical Center in Peoria, followed by a fellowship in nephrology at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics.
He is board certified in internal medicine and nephrology. In addition to his extensive medical and clinical background, Bland holds a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Massachusetts and Amherst, as well as a Master's of Predictive and, how do you say that?
Predictive Analytics.
Analytics from Northwestern University in Chicago. Dr. Bland joins Hamilton's long-standing commitment and dedication to providing the highest quality health care for the communities we serve, said Jeff Myers, Chief Executive Officer and President of Hamilton Healthcare System. We are pleased to have Andy join our leadership as we continue to grow and expand our services. The unique skill set which he brings to the team, including a diverse and extensive background in clinical practice, quality and healthcare business management, will be a significant asset to furthering the objectives of our quality, safety, and strategic development initiatives. Bland and his wife, Angela, say they are excited to be relocating to the area and are looking forward to becoming an active part of the community.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. And now for other upcoming area events and bulletins, Walker and Catoosa counties are holding their annual Battle of the Badges drive to benefit Blood Assurance. You can participate in the drive by giving at the Fort Oglethorpe Blood Assurance office from today through June 14th. A Battle of the Badges t-shirt will be given to all donors who participate. All are invited to the inaugural Shakespeare in the Burr Park in historic downtown Dalton. The Conasauga Shakespearean Coalition and the Creative Arts Guild have teamed up to offer Henry V on Thursday at 8 p.m. That's today, Saturday at 8 p.m., and again next Thursday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Supported by lifelong theater advocate and lover Gene Burr, directed by Lane Davies, and featuring several professional actors as well as many familiar local faces. The event is free and open to the public. Bring your blankets, chairs, and picnic dinners. Beer and wine will be available for purchase on site. For more information, visit the Creative Arts Guild website or call 706-278-0168. And that is all we have time for today. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
With VidLink, we're taking TV, streaming, and video to the next level with one simple app.
Having all the channels in HD is a huge plus. The quality of the picture on each channel is untouched by anything on the market right now. I would highly recommend VidLink to all my friends.
One thing I love about VidLink is the restart feature. If I turn on the TV and it's 10 minutes into a show, I just hit that restart button and I get to watch the whole thing.
Contact us today to learn how you can get linked.
Hi, I'm Judy Elliott, inviting you to join me on Lifestyles for Women show on WDNN TV. This year brings exciting new topics that women like to discuss or just know more about. Subjects like ways to look and feel your very best, travel, family, health, and sometimes just fun girl talk. It's always exciting, and we invite your suggestions. Just message me on Facebook at Lifestyles for Women, or for more information or to watch us online, visit WDNNTV.com. Lifestyles for Women.
While the word cancer can strike fear at the deepest level of our souls, in the case of skin cancer, the prognosis is very good. Basal cell and squamous cell carcinomas are the most common and are not normally included in cancer statistics.
Our office specializes in the diagnosis and treatment of skin cancer.
If you're concerned about a mole or freckle that may be changing, give us a call. Most treatments can be performed in our office in about 15 minutes with very little discomfort.
I am Ron McKinney, pastor of Kinsey Drive Baptist Church in Dalton, Georgia. KDBC has been the birthplace of several Christian organizations. It was the birthplace of Christian Heritage School 30 years ago, and through the Academy of Fine Arts, L'Abri Symphonic Orchestra was founded by KDBC members Gene and Betty Lindauer. The ministry of KDBC reaches around the world with the missions of To Every Tribe ministry, and I was a founding member of North Georgia Fellowship of Christian Athletes in 1992. Majesty is the longest running television program on North Georgia television. For 28 years, we have faithfully proclaimed the doctrines of grace. Kinsey Drive Baptist Church welcomes you to visit at 2626 Kinsey Drive on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Our website is kinseydrivebaptistchurch.com. To God be all the glory.
I am a nurse,
a firefighter, a college student,
a mother,
and I am an American soldier.
I will always be ready
for every storm and disaster that threatens my community. I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Hello, North Georgia. Welcome to Point of View live with myself, Connie Hall Scott, and my multi-generational panel of people from our community with varying characteristics, backgrounds, and ideologies. This is the place for you to be heard. Thanks for joining us. Today I have with me once again Dana Sapp and Alexis Scott. And as you can see, we're just three ladies who are ready to talk about things going on in the world. So, Dana, you were with us last Tuesday when we started our very first Point of View, and we talked about, Dana is, she's the owner, a business owner here in Whitfield County of Oasis Hair and Nail Salon. And Dana, what better person to be on here than someone who's hearing what's going on in our community all the time?
We hear it all.
Yeah, Yeah, we've talked about a little bit of what you've heard. And some of it's funny and some of it's crazy. But you know, Dana also comes from a background of, she was born in Cuba, she's lived in Spain, she's lived in Florida, she's lived here and there. So you have a lot of insight into things going on around the world.
I try. I stay in touch through my cell phone.
Oh my word. Yeah, doesn't everybody? So, Dana, would this be a good day? Now, okay, clearly we have different ideas about things. Dana is a Democrat.
I'm
correct?
neither.
You're neither, but you lean more liberal.
In
Not
some
really?
in some things.
Okay.
In some things.
Okay. And myself, I was more or less definitely raised in a Republican household, but now I'm engaged to a man who ran for Congress as a Democrat. I am somewhere like, you know, here, there, and I don't identify as any of those things.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I will say this, and I hope we'll still be friends after this, because we will be already.
Oh yes, definitely.
But I did vote for Donald Trump.
Okay.
And I know that you don't love him. No. Can you tell us, this is just such a cool story about your experience with Donald Trump?
I have two experiences with him. One I can talk about, one I can't.
Yeah. The one you can talk about.
Well, I was really young. I was maybe 18, 19, and I used to ride my bike to the beach. I grew up in West Palm Beach. And one day I was riding on Royal Palm Way, which if you've ever been to West Palm Beach, you know Royal Palm Way. It's been a lot of movies. It's that long road that has the really tall palm trees in the middle. Well, I was riding down that road. A lot of people ride bikes down that road. And Donald Trump was there.
And you had a crush on him.
I had a crush on him.
Because he was handsome then.
I thought he was, like one of us, you know, and I did. I had a crush on him, but he was talking to this poor man in such a way that I had I stopped, and I was across the street, and there was not a big crowd, but there was people watching, and it's what he loves, you know. He loves to be the center of a crowd, and he was I don't know what the situation was, but it was this guy who was a
valet?
Like a valet, and I don't know what he had done, but Donald Trump was eating him alive. And the more people that were watching, the louder he got. And this poor guy, I mean, he couldn't even get a word in. And that was the first experience I had with him. And I'm just not a fan of his. He's not a good person.
Okay, and I see that on your Facebook.
Well, I've been good lately.
I know, you have. Well, I just wanted to share that because, you know, it is your perspective and it's your experience and it's interesting, you know. Maybe he was just having a bad day. You know, we don't know, or maybe not.
I know people that have known him, and he's notorious for treating people badly.
Oh, and I don't like that. I think we should be nice to everybody.
Yeah, have compassion.
As best we can, yeah.
A little bit of compassion goes a long way.
It does indeed. Okay, now joined by Dana and myself today is Alexis Scott. Alexis is 20, clearly a little bit younger than us, with a different point of view. Thanks for joining us, Lexi.
You're welcome.
Now, Lexi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's not really much to say. I mean,
there's a lot to say. You grew up in Dalton. You grew up in Whitfield County.
Yeah.
And attended public school.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, I did that.
And she's at this point, Lexi's, you know, still discovering what she's going to do with life, but she certainly is going to be a wonderful contribution to one of our segments today. Because we are going to be talking about, okay, let me tell you what today's topics are. They are cell phones in our society, the pros and cons, and some etiquette tips. Then Americans are being killed in the Dominican Republic. We're going to weigh in on this new epidemic and leave you with some safety tips for traveling abroad. So that we're going to get into that, and I guess we all have very different opinions on the whole phone and safety and traveling abroad deal. Yeah.
For sure.
My phone gets me in trouble a lot.
Yeah?
I'm one of those addicts.
You're a phone addict?
Yes,
yeah.
very much.
Are you, when you're looking at your phone, are you, you know, are you checking your messages? Are you playing games, or what are you doing?
A lot of times I'm checking messages, but, and there's a little bit of there's been a lot of scientific research on this to do with millennials. because like I grew up, I'm 55. I grew up with no cell phone, right?
I did too. I'm 48.
Okay. So we grew up and we played outside, and so I feel, you know, in my late age, I don't mind being addicted to the phone. Well, you know, I'm on the bottom side. I'm on the downside of the hill. But I don't mind being addicted to my phone right now. But if I was a little kid addicted to the phone, that is where a lot of mental illness can come in, and depression and stuff like that. And there's a lot of things that I mean I've been kind of reading up on it, and it makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, and it's just like really with games, honestly. Now, Lexi's my daughter, and I also have Adam and Aaron, the twins. And when they were growing up, I very much limited their game usage. They had, you know, the little toys, the Game Boys or whatever that was out at that time, and they could play it like in the car some, or, you know, for a certain amount of time at home, but they were not allowed just to sit there and play all day long. And at that time, if there was YouTube, they were too young to know about it. I don't even think there was YouTube quite yet. But I think that that's another danger that we have to watch out with our little people, because they can get on YouTube and look up really honestly anything they want to.
Yeah, and I mean, what you see definitely influences you a lot. I mean, you know, the things you read, the things you see. I mean, I see some kids watching things that they shouldn't be, you know, going by. I mean, it's not my place to parent their kids, but you hear words and those stick with a child, you know.
Or see images of violence and other things that you think your kid's just looking up something on Disney or whatever, and there's really no telling what they are looking at.
You can't unsee what you've seen, and then you can't unhear what you heard.
And even if you don't think it affects you right there, it stays in your mind, like the violence and the, you know, everything like that.
Not only that, but it's instant gratification for everything. And for instance, a little child, and at the shop, I see it all the time, and I see it everywhere. And I've been guilty because I gave my granddaughter a phone too. So, but I'm talking like 2, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. I mean, all they see is they're like this, right? Well, that creates like a really short-term, not memory, but gratification. And everything they could ever want is right there at their fingertips. There's no waiting. I mean, when I was a kid and you ordered something, you had to wait a week, 2 weeks to get it.
But at the same time, was that not fun? Because it's like you're building that anticipation of, oh boy, this thing's gonna come, I can't wait, and you go check the mail, and it's like, darn it.
There's an excitement about it.
Yeah, you still get to be excited because maybe it's gonna be there tomorrow. You know.
Well, like right now, we get on our phone and we go and we order something, boom, the next day it's right there. You know, you want to watch a movie, you don't have to wait for times.
Yeah.
You pull it up and you watch the movie right there. You don't get to wait for next week's program. You can binge watch whatever you want right
We're
there.
Spoiled. We're very spoiled as a society. And we are about to have to go to break, but when we come back, we're going to talk a whole lot more about cell phone usage. We're going to talk about the American tourists who are, it seems, getting killed in the Dominican Republic.
Something's going on.
Yeah, and much more for you, so stick around and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Lori McDaniel, host of The Local Scene. We've all heard it a million times. There's nothing to do around here. Well, the local scene exists to prove that statement wrong. We promote events, festivals, fundraisers, and exciting news about what's going on in Northwest Georgia. If you're looking for something to do, tune in. If you've got an event or something special you want to promote on the air, let us know so you can be a guest on the show. Hey, free publicity doesn't grow on trees, you know. If you'd like to be on the local scene, please email WDNN at info@WDNNTV.com with the subject line, The Local Scene, or call us at 706-278-9713. Nothing to do. As if.
Welcome back, North Georgia, to Point of View. Now we're going to talk about mobile phones. Mobile phones have become a staple of our society, with everyone from elementary school kids to senior citizens owning at least one. Although apps and texting have made our lives easier, some question the impact they've had on the relationships we have with one another. Here to weigh in on the subject are Dana Sapp and Alexis Scott. And we're back, ladies. So we were already talking about cell phones a little bit before we went to break. And you were saying, Dana, that you grew up without a cell phone. I grew up without a cell phone. And, you know, everything was really, honestly, just fine.
Yeah, I mean, you don't miss what you don't have, right?
Yeah.
But today's kids, I mean, honestly, there's an age, you can't smoke before you're 18, you can't own a gun, you can't have alcohol, but you can have a phone, and it's so dangerous. And one thing that I have read, and there's a lot of scientific research being done on this, kids that are growing up with cell phones like that, and it's not cell phones, it's the fact that the world is right there in this one.
It could be an iPad, it could be anything.
There's no coping mechanism. When kids are growing up with these cell phones, everything is instant. There's no coping mechanism. There's no deep connections being made. You know, you have friends all over the world, but there's really, the suicide rate on young people is outrageous anymore.
Well, they can be manipulated by another child who might not be a child.
Yes.
And they definitely look for validation from people online. I mean, myself, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, there's a lot of triggering things there that you see. And me, I used to struggle with depression. And I would go to that for, to look for things that would make me feel better. When in the end, it would make me feel worse, because I just wanted to know people felt the same way that I did, maybe, in which I should have been developing healthy
connections with people.
Yes.
Because if I only know you through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, all of those, you're never really going to reach out to me if you need help.
Exactly.
And, if I'm in a detrimental situation where I'm thinking of suicide, who do you turn to? There's no one to turn to. Everybody lives in your phone. And you don't feel that connection, that deep connection that we have to have with one another to reach out to someone, and people don't know you, the real you, so they don't know what signs to look for.
It's definitely changed the way that we communicate with others.
Yes. And one interesting thing, when you get a text or you get a message, it releases dopamine in your brain.
Really?
Yes. That's why you feel so good when you get all these messages. You feel good because you have dopamine being released in your brain.
That's interesting.
It's kind of like validation almost.
Yes. We all want validation. We all want to have a connection. When I was really young, and I worked as a medical assistant, and one of the doctors that I worked with, his name was Dr. Rodriguez, he said, whenever you're talking to someone, not everyone's going to show that they're nervous, and not everyone's going to tell you they're nervous, but you have to assume everybody is. So touch them.
And
you touch that person, and immediately that person is going to, and even people who don't like to be touched, for the people who don't like to be touched, there has to be something there as to why they don't like to be touched. But when you touch someone else, there's a connection with that person.
Touch is important.
It is. It's very important.
Hugs make people feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, it can really put you at ease.
I would say 90% of the people that I work on at the shop get a hug afterwards.
That's great.
Before they leave.
We hug.
We hug all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, human touch is nothing is going to replace human touch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Phone, no social media, none of that is going to replace the person. And looking into someone's eyes, you can tell a lot about a person.
You can.
But looking in someone's Facebook, I mean, people portray a life. I could be so depressed. How many times have we seen, oh, such and such a person committed suicide? You go back on their Facebook page, everything is smiles, everything is just, but they were so depressed inside.
Right.
But if you look in someone's eyes, you may or may not be able to tell anything, but if you have a communication with that person, if you have a life with that person, be it once a week, you touch base, you go around, you visit, you go to lunch, whatever, you have that connection. That person is more likely to come to you when they have something going on than the person they only communicate with online.
Yeah, and it's almost like a fake persona. Now, I use my Facebook, to promote things and for purposes like that. And I must be a little bit weird based on the studies that, you were saying people get excited when they get a text and they hear that ding or the phone call. I'm kind of like the opposite.
But you didn't grow up with it.
I didn't grow up with it.
That wasn't the only thing you were looking for validation.
No, you're right. But it's like I'll have the phone across the room and Steve and I will be watching TV or whatever, and he'll go ding ding. He'll be like, somebody's dinging you. I was like, yeah. And then he'll do it again. He'll be like, are you gonna check it? And I'll be like, no. And he'll be like, it might be important. I'm like, look, I've got a specific ringtone set for Alexis, Adam, Aaron, my parents, and Steve. So I know everybody's safe. The rest can wait.
Right. That's a good system.
Well, it's just how I feel. I mean, it's not that I'm being smart about it. It's just like, oh, I don't want to talk about that right now. Uh-oh, I didn't do this thing. Oh, I still don't want to face it right now. I guess I'm an avoider. But
and I think it's definitely changed the dating realm too. I mean,
yes.
That's a whole different topic there. I mean, a lot of people these days meet their husbands or their wives on, let's say, Tinder or just anything like that. And I mean, I think that's insane. I think there's pros and cons to, the cell phone.
Absolutely.
Times change and things will change. But I mean, if everybody's always looking down, I mean,
you're going to miss everything right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had promised our viewers here earlier that we were going to give some etiquette tips. And I'll start out by saying this because it's such a broad subject that when I was thinking of doing this segment, I was kind of thinking about how rude it is when you're at, you're sitting. I take my 3 kids out to dinner, not so much when Steve's there, but if it's us 4, I'll be sitting there and all of them will have their phones and I'm like, hey, I want to talk. I want to connect with you. And when they were growing up, they weren't allowed to, at least we had periods where they weren't allowed to bring their table or their phone or whatever to the table when we were having dinner, because that was important to me, sitting at the dinner table together when we could. But there are certain things we can do that won't be rude. And I was talking to Colt Ford, the country music performer, years ago, and he had this whole rant about kids these days. I mean, he really got tore up about it, and you talked to him that day too.
Yeah.
And he was tore up about how people are just on the phone and they're not connecting and they're not talking proper English and and a lot of people from our generations feel that way. Darn it, we don't have time to even get into those tips. Maybe we'll touch on it for a minute when we come back. So stick with us.
I am a nurse.
A firefighter. A college student.
A mother.
And I am an American soldier.
I will always be ready.
For every storm. And disaster that threatens my community. I will always be there to protect my neighbors.
My family.
And my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Georgia Power has lots of tools and resources to help you prepare for a storm. To have information sent directly to your phone, log into your account and sign up for outage alerts. Signing up is easy, just follow the directions. You can also sign up by texting REG to 42797, then hit send. You'll need your Georgia Power account number to continue. Visit georgiapower.com/storm for lots of videos, checklists, and helpful tools and resources to help you get prepared.
Georgia is now a hands-free state. That means you can't have a phone in your hand or supported by your body if you want to talk on your phone while driving. Even with hands-free, text messages, emails, and social media are still against the law. Parking your phone while your car is in drive could save lives, maybe even yours. For more information, go to headsupgeorgia.com.
Oh, the joy and happiness that comes with buying a new home. But there's so much to do already. Go to Georgia811.com. Always go to Georgia811.com or call 811 before you dig. It's not only the smart and safe thing to do, it's the law. Georgia811.com.
Hello, welcome back. The mysterious deaths of American tourists in the Dominican Republic and the shooting of Red Sox legend David what's his name? Ortiz, are making some people reluctant to travel to the island. Just yesterday, well, not actually yesterday, it was released yesterday, that the brother of Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran was found dead in a Dominican Republic hotel room. 7 Americans in total have died in the Dominican Republic in the last year, including a Maryland couple and a Pennsylvania woman who died within days of each other at the same resort. The FBI is helping local law enforcement with the investigation. Families are demanding answers, while at the same time, the country denies the incidents are related. Here to weigh in on this topic are Dana Zapp and Alexis Scott. Welcome back, ladies.
That's scary.
It's scary. It's very scary that, and we don't know what's going on. Are they related or are they not? Well, that's pretty heavy coincidence if they're not, don't you think?
I wonder if it's a coincidence that they've all been Americans.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of like to see some more statistics on our other people from other countries.
Because they're saying Americans, but I wonder if there's others that have not been, that are connected, but it hasn't been put together yet.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a serial killer out there.
I mean, seriously, I wonder that myself when I started hearing about it. And one thing that really blew me away is the woman that got attacked.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
yes, that was horrible.
She got attacked in the Dominican, and she had just been, I think, going from, I don't know, maybe the pool to the hotel room or something like that.
Her and her husband were already in for the night.
Okay.
And she wanted a snack. She called, and I just read the story, that's why. She called room service, but room service was down for the night. So she told her husband, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go downstairs and get a snack. But when she went downstairs, she decided to go to a different lobby.
Yeah.
And she got attacked. She got pushed into some kind of closet or something, and it was a worker.
And she got beat severely, correct?
Oh my goodness, you see the pictures?
I didn't see the pictures. Oh my word.
I'd like to know what's being done about that.
Hopefully something. Now, here's the thing that blew me away. She wasn't able to see the assailant. However, she did see that the hotel logo on his clothes, like perhaps he worked there. So, but she wasn't able to identify anyone because that's all she did see.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody, I mean, if it is a serial killer, I wouldn't think they would just, I think they would hope, well, not hopefully, I hope they get caught. But you'd think they would think about it, you know, and maybe go in there and I'm going to put this disguise on or something.
That one, I don't know, because the way the other ones have died was so different. And she was beaten. I think it's not related.
I don't think those are related either.
Yeah, I don't think it's related. That was just one of those things that should have never happened. But the people who are being killed, they either drank a drink and then they got real sick. The latest guy, I think, he drank something out of the minibar in his room. So I don't know if I want to say it's an employee.
Could be.
Yeah.
Certainly could be.
It's definitely someone with easy access to the rooms or, you know, the people that stay there. So that's scary.
Yes. There's another couple, they're from Arizona, I think, and they're suing the hotel they had been in months before this happened because they got really sick. And they had texted their family members that they were both sick for over 8 hours with profuse vomiting for over 8 hours, and they didn't know what was going on. And they're suing now after this has happened. And they also said they had a drink, and after the drink, they were really, really sick.
You know, it's unfortunate. I mean, you go on vacation, you expect to, you know, have a good time, it be peaceful, and I mean, you go and, I mean, you could die.
Oh, yes.
And that's terrifying, that's scary.
Well, I think that there are some things we can do to, you know, in precaution, try to take some action to keep ourselves safer, whether we're traveling abroad or within our own country. And let's talk about that a little bit. Number one, we could do our research. You know, find out, be aware of your surroundings, and, you know, keep a good watch on who's around you and what's going on. And number two would be don't draw attention. I think that, to me, what that means is, like, you know, when you go to New York, you're not supposed to wear your 3-carat diamond ring, or, you know, your Gucci purse on your shoulder, because it might get ripped off, literally. And we don't think about that here in North Georgia. That doesn't typically happen to us, so we go around kind of however we want to. But if you're making yourself, almost like making yourself a target, if you're looking like, I got a lot of money, why don't you, you know, you want some of it, to the people that are in that mindset to take it.
I know that some people, when they travel, they don't say they're American.
Really?
They say they're Canadian or whatever, because they feel, especially right now, I don't think Americans are being seen in the best light.
Sadly.
Yeah, so I have spoken to a couple of people that I know travel a lot. They go to Israel a lot, and they don't say they're American when they're traveling. Like, of course, their passport has where they're from, but if I was going on vacation, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't be seeing my passport.
Right.
So I would just say I'm from Canada.
Sure.
Or, you know, and I have met people who have who do that, and they do it for safety.
Well, I think whatever keeps you and your family safe. Another thing is make copies of important documents. You know, your passport, your license. And one thing that I used to do for Steve way back in the day was I always, and I still do, have a copy of his passport and his driver's license, you know, at ready in case for whatever reason that might come up. And that's a good idea for all of us to have.
Yes, because if we're out and about and we lose all of our stuff,
and keep it on the cloud so you can access it anywhere. Keep your friends and family updated. Another thing, I do not like it. I don't like it when my kids, or really even Steve, go somewhere and I don't know where they are, because, I mean, let's face it, anything could happen, and you want to be aware of where your loved ones are.
Yeah, and I mean, we have that Find My Friends app, you know, so we can see exactly, get directions within 10 seconds of where each other is, you know?
That's good. That's a good app.
It's just something me and my mom and my brothers have always kind of done. And I think that's a good, you know, that's a good tool to have with your family.
Yeah. Let's see. Safeguard your hotel room. For me, I think now what this would mean would be not only locking it, but maybe putting something in front of the door that would give you some sort of alarm in case someone entered whenever you know, you were coming in. And there's so many other things. But you know, that's pretty much where our time is right now. Do y'all have any parting words on any of these things you want to share with our viewing audience?
One of the things that stayed with me, that really struck me, was the original couple that are suing now, the ones that didn't die. They said that when they got in the room, there was a very pungent smell, and they called out to one of the ladies that was in the hallway to come and, what is that smell? And she walked in the room, and she left. She says, oh no, I can't go in that room. And so I wonder, so you have to keep not just aware of your surroundings, but if you walk into your hotel room and all of a sudden there's a weird smell, that should be a you know, light bulb.
Absolutely.
And just different things.
And ladies, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for coming, and y'all join us again next Tuesday. I'm Connie Hall Scott, and my show, The Talk with Connie, is right here on North Georgia Television. And I hope you'll join me and my very, very interesting guests as we dish on, well, just about everything. Meet local and regional entertainers, newsmakers, motivators, and all kinds of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Enjoy man-on-the-street interviews, hot topic discussions, and even the occasional game or prank. It's all about community and getting to know each other. My goal is to entertain, educate, and stimulate. So join the talk for a new episode every week.
Do you know what to do if you're stuck on the railroad crossing? Get out of your vehicle,